Hi, I'm Nathan and welcome to Ninja Monkey, the place for all things related to Japan. I do the research so that you don't have to, and I put all the readily available information into one place. As Japan's borders are once again closed, hopefully my updates will help you make informed decisions, leading to answering the question, when will Japan's border reopen? I might not have all the answers, but I still believe that it's important to have a look at what's happening behind Japan's closed borders, as not only will it help us gain insights into what's happening in the world of travel, but hopefully staying informed will give you some kind of peace of mind. In this video, we will look at what's happening in regards to vaccination and cases in Japan, and take a dive into how the Omicron variant of the virus might have affected travel in many aspects regarding entry into Japan, including a number of minor changes regarding how people might need to quarantine on arrival. I will also be looking at other Japan travel related news and try to highlight some positive aspects too. All sources and links are in the video description and timestamps are available too. So let's get started. On the topic of vaccinations, Japan has now administered a total of 198,014,376 jabs. This includes first and second doses. This means that for now, out of the population of around 126 million people, 79% have now received one dose of the vaccine, and 77.3% have received both doses of the vaccine and would therefore be considered fully vaccinated. And for the first time, I can report that 36,450 third doses have now been administered, a number we shall certainly be keeping an eye on. And in regards to COVID, 25 new cases were reported on Friday in Tokyo, up by 11 from a week ago. Importantly, no deaths were reported among those infected, and cases have remained below 30 since the 6th of November. But as the world focuses on the Omicron variant of the virus, Japan has reported 8 new cases, bringing the country's total number of cases involving the variant to 12. All 8 cases were detected from testing conducted on arriving passengers at airports, and there is currently no evidence of community transmission. A senior government official said that the fact that all cases were detected via airport screenings show that measures to detect cases at airports upon arrival are working. And although it seems that this new variant seems to be less severe than Delta, I will not be touching upon this until things become clearer. But there is lots of data and information I recommend you keep up to date in regards to this variant. Also, as from now, those travelling on the same aeroplane as someone where the Omicron variant has been detected are now deemed as close contacts too. Interestingly, those lucky enough to enter Japan will now be able to self-quarantine at their homes or accommodation facilities for the 14-day period if they are arriving from an area where Omicron variant is not spreading. This is a change to the original rules set out. Previously, arrivals had to stay at government-designated facilities for the first 3 to 6 days after landing in Japan, followed by 8 to 11 days at home or in an alternative accommodation. This change has come into effect as a result of the new border rules on preventing the spread of the Omicron variant, causing an apparent shortage of hotel rooms for people to isolate in, and has therefore made the government have to relax their isolation rule. So team, what do you think about all this? Personally, if the airport screening and measures to detect the cases are working so well, as a senior government official has said, then why not let others in? We'll have to wait and see. On the other hand, it might look like Japan is trying to contain the Omicron variant from jumping into the community, and this would potentially really slow down Japan's reopening. Will Japan just end up lagging behind the rest of the world once again? It's inevitable that the virus will eventually jump into the community, and perhaps the only way for it not to is to continue with such strict measures. But is it realistic in the long term? I wonder. Also, it's interesting to see Japan change its own rules as a result of the shortage of hotel rooms for those entering the country. Perhaps there is hope and rules can change. You never know. So let's have a look at how the Omicron variant might have affected government decisions and other things that are happening in this area. Firstly, Prime Minister Kishida has said that his government will shorten the period between which people can receive their second vaccine shot and become eligible for a booster from the original 8 months. But regarding Japan's closure of the border, he said he remains ready to accept criticism that I'm being too cautious before we have an adequate grasp of the situation. Additionally, the government will finally start issuing digital certificates for those who have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19 on December the 20th. This certificate is interestingly initially intended for overseas travel rather than domestic use for now, and will work via a QR code through a smartphone app. The government will also consider when to finally resume and if it will actually resume its Go to Travel tourism promotion campaign after carefully watching the infection situation in the country during the end of the year and New Year holiday period. So, in other Japan travel-related news, the Japan National Tourism Organization JNTO, a platform for promotion of Japanese tourism for international visitors, has relaunched its UK travel trade website. The website features news, resources, webinars and giveaway campaigns across Japan to prepare agents for when the Japanese border reopens. Travel agencies will be able to keep up to date through monthly newsletters and online training, as well as access to a photo library to assist in promoting the destination. The first training webinar will take place on the 15th of December and will feature the Daisetsuzan National Park in Hokkaido. The platform will also feature training giveaways, including the chance to win a number of prizes with JNTO and the airline ANA. Team, I really wanted to highlight any specific travel-related news. It's interesting that this organization has relaunched its website in the UK and is becoming more active. I'll take any positive news at this point, but I do remain realistic. The fact that even Japan's domestic Go to Travel campaign is potentially being reconsidered and that the Japanese government is carefully watching the situation in the country during the year-end and New Year's holiday period makes it obvious that we must remain vigilant and take care when planning any future travel to the country. At the same time, could we start hearing more news after the New Year's period? I believe that this is a big possibility and hopefully a positive one too. On the other hand, Japan Airlines is foreseeing a delay in air travel. A recovery for the Japanese carrier was slowing even before Omicron emerged late last month. And although domestic travel had just about recovered to about 60% of normal levels in November, it's a different story for international traffic, which remained at around 10%. Japan Airlines CEO has called for the government to ease entry restrictions after assessing conditions, hopefully soon. So team, what are your thoughts on all this? I'm always interested in knowing what you think, so let's get the conversation started in the comment section. And if you haven't got much to say, just say hi and where you're from. I love seeing the community grow and how international the community is. You can also take the time to encourage each other down there, and I continue to encourage you to send any information that might be helpful or relevant, either via one of my social platforms or simply sharing with the community in a comment. Additionally, if you live in the EU, I would like to bring to your attention a petition on the situation of EU nationals seeking to study and work in Japan following the entry ban during the COVID-19 pandemic. The link will also be in the video description. Anyway team, my analytics continue to tell me that a lot of viewers are not subscribed to the channel, so I would really appreciate it if you might want to jump on board and become part of Team Ninja Monkey so that you can get the latest updates and don't miss anything. And if you don't, then that's perfectly fine too. I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. So, stay positive team. Till next time, I'll continue researching and keeping an eye on all updates until the next video. So, see you then. Arigatou gozaimasu. Gracias. Thanks. Bye.